I thought both games were pretty similar. It was mostly a defensive stand for us. I thought we did a pretty good job in the way we defended both games. Georgia State, a little bit bigger than us, and posed some problems on the interior, inside the lanes and stuff. But it was something that we had to adjust to, and I think we were able to make those adjustments. Kids played hard, and it was great to get a win for the young ladies. And then Georgia Southern was a little different in the fact that they played the zone with no pressure, and it gave us an opportunity to kind of get some easy scores, I thought. But on the defensive side, I thought we played really well, especially the second half. We had to make adjustments, and kids kind of responded to it today. On Saturday, and it was good to see us get a win. I think our turnovers were down compared to what we've been kind of dealing with. So, to see an improvement in their play, and the effort's always there. Today we had a great practice. I saw a lot of kids that maybe didn't play as well as they would have liked on Saturday step up today. So, there's an improvement and getting better. And this week against ULM, same thing. It's kind of about matchups and can we handle their pressure and can they handle our pressure. So it's going to be a little different than the Georgia schools, but I think we're preparing and kind of ready to go. Any questions? Yeah, I think it is. They work so hard and they never really let down in practice. So to get some results, I always figure in this day and age when you get fewer results, they seem to be more bought into what we were doing. The thing that impressed me about this team is they never stop working. They continue to work hard. But I think it's easier. I can see it was easier for us today to get them to believe a little bit more in how we did it. We talked today about how we had to make some adjustments and not play like we normally play, like not on the midline on certain people. And that's just going to be something that we'll have to do on the go, with the young team. And I thought they bought into it on Saturday. And to see some results, to me, it's a lot of these kids need to, especially the young ones, for them to believe in it. It's got to happen. If it never happens, then. And so that was pretty good to be able to get 2 wins. And, we always say once we get in conference, we need to make sure that we win all our home games. So it was good to play our first 2 games at home and get some wins. Yeah, I like the fact that we get to do some things today for us. Like today we really worked on some fundamental things that we needed to work on and not worry about the other team. So that was kind of good. But I don't know, I don't know how this team, because I haven't seen this team respond to playing 1 game a week, I'm kind of hoping they're more like a tournament team when we go to 29th and we have to play Saturdays, we play Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday against UTA, and then Thursday, Saturday, where we only get 1 day between some of the games. I'm hoping we're more like that than wait, So we'll have the tale of ask me that in a couple of weeks and I'll tell you. But I'm hoping, sitting out might hurt us a little bit. But I'm hoping that when we come around to those 5 straight games that we have, that we can respond, really well to that.
What did you guys do in this last couple of games that you corrected from earlier in the season that you want to carry forward?
Well, I think the defensive side, we were able to make some adjustments without we call it shading over the shooters. They had a couple of shooters that were in the first half against Georgia Southern that were kind of hitting shots and all that. And we also I thought we made a great adjustment in putting Brandy Williams on the point guard. I thought that kind of changed the game. But, we started to shade over to Brown and the other kid, 23, just kind of shade over to her and make sure that we limited some touches. And normally when we try to make an adjustment in a game that we didn't work on, we're not very successful at it. But this game, I thought we were pretty successful at getting them to understand what we were trying to do and a little bit more focused. I think you're seeing a little bit more focused team, and understanding what we're trying to do. But I think it was the defensive side. And then on the offensive side, I thought we took better shots. But, it's like anything else, that you got to make shots to be able to win games too. So I thought we made some pretty good shots and we actually took care of the ball a little bit better.
Talk about your young team. You got 46 out of your 59 points from freshmen on Saturday.
Yeah, and the thing about them is they continue to work hard outside of practice. Brandy Williams and Andrew Canoia led us in the last game. With 25 and 14, and they're just real skilled players. Mostly offensive players, but it's good to see them play a little bit of defense. And I know they continue to have to get better, but that's the thing. The freshmen are going to be inconsistent. It's part of their DNA, I guess, for us is. But you see in Brandy Williams becoming more consistent in what she's doing. But, love their effort. I love to coach them because they're very coachable. Our freshmen are very coachable kids. And, I think they believe in what we're doing. It's just going to take some time for them to get consistent. And hopefully it happens before the end of conference. But we're starting to see some improvement in all of the youngsters, And, I mean, everybody on our team is young that's playing. You're talking about sophomores and freshmen, Kendall Best is the only junior that's playing at this point. So, and she's coming along pretty good. But she's like a freshman. She's a first-year player, But, to see their effort and continue to work hard, I think is going to be important. Not to let themselves down, I don't think none of them will. They want to win. They want to win, and they believe in our programs. And that's a great thing, so when you get in the locker room and you look around, you got kids that believe in yourself and the program and where we can go, and hopefully we can start to get some other people on board.
Coach, with the long week, you guys don't have a game on Thursday. What are you guys going to be working on this week, specifically gear up against ULM?
Today we worked both offense and defense, but it was on us, like I wrote down, I just kind of keep a notepad of the things that we didn't do well this weekend, like facing up, being patient on the catch. If you notice, man, we're going 100 miles an hour sometimes. And we worked on that, facing up, taking our time. We have a hard time keeping our dribble. There's no 5-second calls anymore, like in high school, closely guarded. So you got to learn in college to kind of keep your dribble without wasting. And so we worked on things like that. And then on the defensive side, we call it jumping to the ball, getting into the gaps. We were playing in a one a lot. So there was the gaps were big. So we worked on that today, a lot of it. And then we played competitive games today. I think we need to become competitive against each other. We got some practice players, and they pretty much kicked our butt today. But it was a fight for them to beat us, so it was kind of good. And this week we'll work on ourselves a lot. Tomorrow we'll be competitive against each other and play a lot of 1-on-1, 2-on-2. I do a lot of old school stuff, when we have time for ourselves, and you're going to see improvement. Like today, I didn't notice we were so all balanced a lot of times in some of the things we were doing because of fundamental, our heads above our feet. I haven't heard one coach say that this year. Your head's above your feet. You can't play basketball, defense or offense, with doing that. And we put them in drills that put them in that position. So we saw some things that we need to, as coaches, help them to improve. So I think that, and then maybe even scrimmage on Thursday like we have in a game so they can get in that routine. Just trying to keep them in the routine and keep it simple. And hopefully we don't right now you're trying to decide, how hard you need to work them too. We didn't do any full court stuff. So, their legs, we're playing 8 kids, 9 kids. So it's a little tougher. We pressed a little bit more than normal, so trying to keep their legs fresh.
On Thursday, Jamara and Ty obviously carried the scoring, and they didn't combine for hardly any points on Saturday. So did Brandy just kind of take it upon herself, or was it just a matchup? Or just talk about her coming through and maybe her understanding of the game to do that.
I think, Kevin, you're right. I think it's a matchup deal for us. They went to that 2-3 zone. And, we had open shots in the corners. She hit the first 2 threes in the corner. And then it kind of opened up some gaps. And she took advantage of jump shots and getting to the rim. I don't know how many free throws she made, but I think she was 100% from the free throw line. So I think that helped her too. But, Brandy is a type of kid that's very, very talented. But you got to kind of put the ball in her hands and tell her, hey, we need you to score. And that's hard to do to a freshman consistently, But I was impressed, Jamar and Ty played really well on a Thursday. And then, we come Saturday and they didn't really get as many touches and they didn't really play as well as they're capable of. And so they come back to practice today and they what a different mindset. I thought Ty Doucette had her best practice ever this year, today, after a bad game. Usually they practice pretty good after a good game, but she didn't play very well. Even on Thursday, I thought she could have done more. And so, I think, you know, the sky's the limit, but it's in her court. You know, she's got to kind of show up.
Is it a matter of understanding how to play when teams are going to target her and put a lot of pressure on her to try to take her out? How to handle that?
Yeah, I think her frustration, you know, sometimes her frustration. And, you know, we're trying to run some things for her, and I don't know if she was quite prepared for them. You know, we have these great ideas that we can put the ball in her hand, screen her man, do some things, and I don't think she was really prepared for it, and that's kind of my fault. You know, we kind of jumped the gun, so we got to make sure that she's prepared and more skilled to do those things. You know, I think we kind of felt by looking at her in practice that she was, but, you know, I loved her mindset today. You know, she works hard. She's got to get a little bit tougher with all that pushing in and aggression from the defenses and stuff.
What's the most challenging aspect of what you can see early from ULM?
Well, you know, my concern is always when we're being pressed, and it's not the press itself; it's after we break the press, can we get into a flow of our offense? And you know, they get us playing fast, and we don't know how to slow it down. And so the tempo of the game and controlling the tempo, I think, is going to be extremely important against ULM.
Womack, I know you brought her in because she's got some size to be more of a defensive and a rebounder, but she also has the ability to score. How hard and where are you in that process of we want you to rebound, we want you to defend, but maybe being able to utilize the scoring that she has in the few minutes that she plays? Let's talk about that process.
Yeah, I mean, she's a very, very good scorer. She can shoot the ball. I mean, that's her strength. And when we recruited her, that was one of the main things we said, well, you know, we know you can shoot, but we need you to rebound. And I think it's just taking her some time. You know, a lot of these kids play zone in high school. And then even they play man, they play what we call in a one, different than we teach it. So it takes her a while. Now, the thing that I'm glad you asked about it today, she looked better on defense than she looked all year. So she's making some strides in that standpoint. I think she understands the rebounding aspect, because I keep telling her for her to get on the floor is not to score. She needs to be able to defend and rebound, because she's going to score. I mean, I think she can score within our offense, you know, especially if they're not going to guard her in the high post and stuff like that. We ran some screens at the high post for her, and she popped and got wide open shots and knocked them both down. That's what she's really good at.